Artificial intelligence is no longer about the future. It is already reshaping every aspect of human life, from the economy and the labor market to education, healthcare, public services, and our everyday habits. From the early neural networks of the mid-20th century to today's large language models, the evolution of AI has been driven by the accumulation of data and the rapid growth of computing power. A major breakthrough came in the 2010s with the rise of deep learning and transformer architectures, enabling machines to understand context, language, and meaning at an entirely new level. However, global AI systems were originally trained on English language data. As a result, languages with a smaller digital footprint, including Kazakh, have been underrepresented. This means such models often fail to fully capture the cultural, linguistic, and contextual nuances of individual countries. It is in this context that the need for national AI development becomes clear. Like many nations, Kazakhstan is focusing on building its own language models and digital ecosystem. This is not only about technological advancement, it is also about digital sovereignty, data security, and the preservation of cultural identity. At one of Astana's research universities, this challenge is being addressed in a systematic way. Here, a scientific and engineering foundation is being built, one capable not only of adapting existing technologies, but also of developing its own solutions. One such milestone is Kaz-LLM, the first large-scale language model developed in Kazakhstan, with its full development cycle completed in 2024.
We also transferred the full rights to Astana Hub to enable wider deployment and make it accessible to a broad audience right away. After developing Kaz-LLM, we didn't stop. By that point, we had already built a solid foundation. Our own models, datasets, and expertise, which we use to develop commercial products for the public, businesses, as well as government and quasi-public sectors. One such solution is Mangı Söz, a platform that supports translation into 11 languages and speech synthesis.
Building a homegrown language model is not just an engineering challenge, it is a strategic decision at the national level. Large language models are trained on vast amounts of text, and it is this data that shapes how they understand the world. When local context is missing, the model inevitably distorts meaning, simplifies language, and loses cultural nuance. In the case of the Kazakh language, this challenge is particularly acute. A significant share of knowledge is passed down orally, while written sources remain limited. Dialects and everyday speech are largely absent from global datasets. As a result, when even Western models support Kazakh, they often operate on a simplified and generalized version. Kaz-LLM was developed to address this issue at a fundamental level. The model was trained on carefully curated data corpora that reflect Kazakhstan's real linguistic environment.
Маңсөзде бізде 5 негізгі функция бар. In
the Mangı Söz platform, we offer 5 core features. These include text translation, text-to-text transformation, text-to-speech, speech-to-speech translation, as well as the ability to translate files into multiple languages. In total, the platform supports 11 languages: Arabic, Azerbaijani, English, Spanish, French, Kazakh, Kyrgyz, Russian, Turkish, Uzbek, and Chinese. Audio files and images can be translated into any of these languages. For example, when translating a text by Abay Kunanbayuli into Russian, our system demonstrates a strong understanding of the Kazakh language, allowing it to deliver more nuanced translations. Rather than relying on a purely machine translation, it captures context and meaning, resulting in greater accuracy. Another feature is expressive speech. It lets you turn text into audio with natural emotion and intonation. For each of the 11 languages, we have dedicated voice models trained across a range of emotional tones, such as anger, fear, joy, sadness, and surprise. For instance, if we convert the following passage into audio, Abay Kunanbayuli was born into the Argin tribe of the Middle Jews.
Абай Құнанбайұлы орта жүздегі арғын тайпасының тобықтыруынан шыққан.
This is an example of speech generated with a fear tone. One of the key products built on Kaz LLM is Oylan, a Kazakhstan-developed alternative to ChatGPT tailored to local realities. Its key distinction lies not only in the language of the interface, but in the deep localization of the data it is trained on. This allows the system to understand context familiar to users in Kazakhstan, including cultural references, speech patterns, and everyday communication nuances. Oylan supports multiple types of input, including text, voice, and images.
Imagine inviting a world-class chef from France, someone who can prepare exquisite Michelin-level dishes. But at the same time, he may not know how to properly season kurdak or what authentic kumis should taste like. He wouldn't recognize how its flavor varies from one region to another. These are the deeper nuances, and that's exactly why many countries are developing their own large language models, because this kind of knowledge exists only within the country itself. We also need to consider digital sovereignty and data privacy. When we interact with systems like ChatGPT, our data is often processed on external cloud infrastructure located abroad. We don't always know how that data is used, and what happens if access to systems like ChatGPT is suddenly restricted. What happens to a society that has come to rely on them, integrating them deeply into everyday processes and decision-making? That is why it is critically important for any country to have its own digital sovereignty.
The system analyzes uploaded files and extracts key information, making it not only a communication tool but also a platform for professional data processing. Developers have also paid close attention to variation in written language. Oylan understands Kazakh in both Cyrillic and Latin scripts, reflecting real user habits, particularly among younger generations. This is a clear example of how technology adapts to socio-linguistic change. Globally, such systems are becoming the norm. Companies like OpenAI, Google, and others are developing universal AI assistants. However, Oylan represents a different approach, building a model that is not just universal, but deeply embedded in the local environment. This is what makes it not a copy, but an independent technological solution. Our next service is diarization. In simple terms, if you have an audio file with 6, 7, or even more speakers, the system can automatically convert it into text and separate it by speaker. You simply upload the audio file, and once it is processed, the system automatically segments it by speaker. If you open it in studio mode, you can see this even more clearly.
Tucked between two giants, Russia and China, and rich in oil, gas, and rare.
To make it even more convenient, you can assign names to each speaker. For example, labeling one as Anwar and another as Sanjar. This way, the transcript clearly shows who is speaking and when. Another area of the lab's development is generative visual technologies. Beyneli is an AI-powered image generation system, but with a fundamentally different approach to data. While global image generators are trained on international datasets and tend to produce generalized visual styles, Beyneli is designed with a focus on local identity.
Beyneli is an AI image generator designed to produce high-quality visuals with a distinctly Kazakh identity, featuring Kazakh faces. There's no need to specify prompts like draw a Kazakh person or a Kazakh police officer. You can simply ask for an image. For example, create a city scene, and the system will generate visuals that reflect local realities. Our next product is Sync, a real-time subtitle generator and translation system. It supports 5 languages: Kazakh, Russian, English, Turkish, and Chinese. The platform can display subtitles in 2 languages simultaneously. For instance, if a speaker is talking in Russian, the system can generate subtitles in Kazakh and Turkish in real time. This is our solution for supporting multilingual events, which are very common in Kazakhstan.
Taken together, Beyneli and Tilsync showed that the lab is working not only with text, but also with visual and audio data, building a fully multimodal AI environment. At the same time, technological development at the Institute of Smart Systems and Artificial Intelligence goes beyond product creation. Its broader goal is to cultivate specialists and future leaders in artificial intelligence.
We are actively developing our human capital. What started as a small team has now grown to around 70 people, including leading researchers and top specialists developing products that people genuinely need. This is a place where science meets real-world application, where everything is designed to benefit the public.
Today, it is a place where young professionals gain access to powerful computing resources and real-world AI projects, shaping a new intellectual elite in the country. Today, around 99% of our team consists of young Kazakh professionals, graduates of the Balashak program and leading universities across Kazakhstan. The average age is 25 to 26. These are specialists already working with cutting-edge AI technologies and supercomputing systems. In fact, we were the first academic institution in the country to begin using NVIDIA DGX systems for AI research back in 2019. As a result, our team has mastered these tools and developed strong expertise and technical know-how. Through this, we are actively contributing to the development of the country's AI talent pool, spanning smart systems, machine learning, and robotics. Despite its rapid development, artificial intelligence is still a tool, and its effectiveness ultimately depends on people. Today, AI is already deeply integrated into everyday life. However, according to developers, its potential in Kazakhstan is still only partially realized, at around 15 to 20%.
And that's at best. We still don't fully apply AI in deeper industrial processes, in areas like energy management and efficiency, or in logistics, where it could help reduce congestion and improve planning. In reality, there is still a great deal of work ahead. AI is advancing rapidly in Kazakhstan, and that's perfectly natural that people are only just beginning to fully tap into its potential.
Particular attention is being given to education. Artificial intelligence is becoming a basic skill comparable to digital literacy. Today, elements of AI are being introduced into school curricula in Kazakhstan, with a growing emphasis on the ability to craft effective prompts and interpret system responses. In this way, people are learning not to work instead of machines, but alongside them.
AI should serve the public good, and much depends on how people choose to use it. That's why the key issue is human capital and human potential. More broadly, there is a growing focus on developing AI systems that can simulate human-like emotions. This is often seen as the next frontier of AI development, a goal that many are now striving toward.
In this context, national AI development allows technologies to be adapted to the values and priorities of local society. The laboratory of the Institute of Smart Systems and Artificial Intelligence serves as a space where science, technology, and culture come together as a unified system. Here, AI is no longer just a tool. It is becoming part of the country's new infrastructure, digital, intelligent, and sovereign.